Hey, it's Shelley from Best Buy blog. I've been testing out the KitchenAid Professional Bowl Lift 7-quart stand mixer. You can find this stand mixer right now by clicking on the link below and visiting Best Buy. I am a long-time user of KitchenAid stand mixers. I've had one for about 10 years now. I've always had the tilt head stand mixers, so having the professional bowl lift stand mixer was a complete revelation for me. It's so different from what I'm used to, and I absolutely love this mixer. It comes with the attachments you see here. That's the double flex edge beater, so that scrapes the sides of the bowl as it's mixing, a wire whisk, another beater, and there's a dough hook. The attachments are all coated, so they have a gray coated finish, and it seems a lot more durable than the traditional stand mixer attachment. It also comes with the pour shield. And the real difference with this mixer, well, there's quite a few differences actually, is that instead of attaching the bowl to the base of the stand mixer, what it does is it lifts the bowl up. So I decided to put this mixer to the test. The bowl is a 7-quart bowl, so it should be able to handle a double batch of the buns and bread that I usually make. This is 2,000 grams of flour. It has 1,200 milliliters of water. There's 200 milliliters of olive oil and a pinch of salt. There's also 20 grams of yeast, which may seem like a lot, but this is my grandma's recipe and I've been using it for years. Once I added everything to the bowl, I noticed that it was already 3/4 full. That's a very big bowl. Traditional stand mixers have a 5-quart bowl, and this is a 7-quart bowl, so you can see how full it is right now. One of the great features on the KitchenAid Professional Bowl Lift stand mixer is slow start. So slow start is a half speed, and it's the first setting right before 1. And with my previous mixer, if I put this much flour in the bowl and it was 3/4 full and I turned it on, I'd probably have flour splatter. And I have used the pour shield to prevent that, but sometimes the flour is just flying all over the place until it's mixed in properly. And even with the pour shield, it would end up on the counter. With half speed, as you can see here, you can use that to fold in ingredients. So you can use it to slowly incorporate the water into the dough, or you can use it to fold egg whites or anything that's really delicate. And one of the issues that I have, or one of the reasons why I knew that I needed to upgrade to a bigger mixer, was because every time I started to make this recipe and I was making single batches, the dough would sometimes wrap itself around the base of the mixer there that the attachment connects to. So I'd have to pick dough out of there when I wanted to remove the attachment, or sometimes dough would build up. And I wasn't a huge fan of that, so I definitely knew it was time to get a bigger mixer. The KitchenAid Professional Bowl Lift stand mixer has 500-watt motor too, so that is also an upgrade on the tilt head mixers. And I really think that it's definitely powerful enough to take on this much bread dough. It was starting to struggle a little bit, so I found that if I turned it up to a little bit higher speed, it could keep going. I also tested out the KitchenAid pasta roller and cutter attachment, and it is so fun to make your own pasta. So what this comes with is a pasta roller, a pasta spaghetti cutter, and a pasta fettuccine cutter. I whipped up some pasta dough with a recipe I found online. So it's just essentially flour, 3 eggs, a little bit of olive oil, and some salt. And I let the mixer go to work. The KitchenAid Professional Bowl Lift mixer actually is pretty quiet. I was impressed with how quiet it was. I thought that with a larger motor, it would be a lot louder than my tilt head mixer, and it's not. It's about the same. The flex edge beater really does keep everything scraped off the side, so you don't have to stop and pause and scrape the sides yourself. And then I switched to the dough hook to finish up the dough. Once the dough was ready, I attached the pasta roller. I think making pasta is a skill, and I'm definitely not skilled at it. I'm a beginner as far as that's concerned, but the KitchenAid pasta roller actually makes it so easy. As you can see, I created a disc of dough and I started to feed it through, and it took a few tries before I finally started to figure out how to use it best. So there is a dial on the pasta roller, and you can turn the dial for different thicknesses. So when you first start out with a disc of dough, dough, you should have it as flat as possible, and then you turn the dial to 2 or 3. 2 or 3 is definitely a sufficient thickness for dough for spaghetti or fettuccine, and it's a good starting point to start to flatten your dough, because you can continue to push it through and get it thinner and thinner if you'd like to. I actually make homemade pizza dough quite a bit, and this attachment would be fantastic for flattening homemade pizza dough as well. And all of these attachments just screw on to the front of the KitchenAid stand mixer hub. I managed to get better as I progressed with the pasta roller, and then it was time to make some spaghetti. So I just attached it to the front of the hub and it securely screwed it in, and then you turn the mixer on speed 1 or speed 2, but I think 1 is sufficient. Even half speed is fast enough to start making spaghetti. And then you just take the dough that you rolled and you start to thread it through the spaghetti or fettuccine maker. And as you can see, it's almost like magic, and all of a sudden you have beautiful strings of spaghetti. I was making so much spaghetti so quickly that I didn't have any place to put it, and that's why getting a pasta drying rack is so important, because you can just hang your pasta all over the rack and let it dry, and then it's ready to cook. You can also cook fresh pasta. It just makes more sense if you're storing it to let it dry first. You can look on the KitchenAid website to find out the different thicknesses for different types of pasta. This is angel hair pasta, so the pasta roller rolled it to a level 8 thinness, and then I just put it through the spaghetti maker. I also made fettuccine, and it's exactly the same as making spaghetti, and all you have to do is just push it through the fettuccine maker and you get much thicker noodles. If you'd like to make lasagna noodles, all you have to do is use the pasta rollers. So I measured out my lasagna pan and it was 9 by 11. So when I pushed the sheets through, I just flattened them to about a 6 or a 7, and then I cut them to fit. And once you let them dry, you have lasagna noodles. The KitchenAid pasta roller and cutter attachment will fit on any KitchenAid stand mixer, not just the KitchenAid Professional bowl lift stand mixer, but it was definitely a lot of fun using the bowl lift stand mixer to make pasta. I love the bowl lift design and the powerful motor, and I also love how KitchenAid always comes up with so many unique colors. There are 12 different shades of this stand mixer available at Best Buy. I tested out the pistachio color, but my favorite is blue velvet, so I just ordered that as an upgrade for my own stand mixer. So that's it for my look at the KitchenAid Professional bowl lift stand mixer and the KitchenAid pasta roller and cutter attachment. You can find this stand mixer at Best Buy by clicking on the link in the description below right now. And you can also see my full written review and other photos of this amazing stand mixer at Best Buy blog. Thanks for watching.